Hello everyone. I'm going to talk about the psychological effects that influence your financial situation. I will do that with the following three topics I will discuss. They do overlap a bit. First, I'm going to start with the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, then the Matthew effect, and lastly the wealth concentration. So the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. It states that roughly 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. So this applies with many different fields, but for this video I'm going to focus on the field of economics and the distribution of wealth. Wilfredo Pareto, an Italian, showed like more than 100 years ago that approximately 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population, and that really started this whole principle. You can also see that the richest 20% of the world's population control around 82% of the world's income. So these are two examples on this economic spectrum that really show the Pareto principle. Then following with the Matthew effect, which is very much related to the Pareto principle. It will simply state that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So I got two examples for this one. The first one will be about reading in school, and the second one will be more focused on wealth concentration. First, with the reading in school, this is a phenomenon in which new readers, who just go to school, acquire the skills to read. If they have early success in acquiring these reading skills, that will usually lead them to later successes in reading as the learner grows. While if you were failing to learn to read, this may be an indication of lifelong problems in learning new skills. So how does this come? This is because children who fall behind in reading tend to read less, and by reading less they increase the gap between them and their peers that are those peers will be reading. And later, when students need to read to learn, so they don't need to learn to read again, but they need to read to learn, their reading difficulty creates difficulty in most other subjects, since for every subject you're taught in school you need to read, of course. And in this way they fall farther and farther behind in school, sometimes even dropping out. So slow reading acquisition has cognitive, behavioral and motivational consequences that slow development of other cognitive skills and inhibit performance on many academic tasks. So with this example you can see if you start out not liking reading or not being very good at reading, so being poor at reading, so to say, you will get worse and worse. While if you even started with being liking reading or being a little bit better in reading than the others, you will get better and better, get richer in reading, so to say. So then moving on to the example of wealth concentration. The wealth concentration is a process by which created wealth under some conditions can become concentrated by individuals or entities, of course. Those who hold wealth have the means to invest in newly created sources and structures of wealth, and are thus the beneficiaries of even greater wealth. So the wealth they already own will accumulate more wealth. So a person born into a wealthy household will have access to quality education, institutions, proper nourishment and a social network from attending these institutions, as well as those of their parents, which can be leveraged for opportunities if required. These benefits play a huge role in ensuring that they have a higher chance at prosperity. So first of all, if you're born in wealth, wealth makes more wealth, you can invest it. And secondly, the wealth also buys certain things, such as high quality education, the right nourishment and the right social network, which will also propel you for more wealth. So while this is two effects all on their own, poor people experience the same effect, but in an even negative way. So due to not having enough money, they need to lend for common services, such as going to school or college, or even living in a house. By lending, you have to pay interest, and the thing is, for sometimes the interest they pay, it will go to the same financial products that the wealthy invested in, such as housing. In this way, creating some sort of loop that only increases the whole the rich get richer, the poor get poorer effect. So as an end note, like what's the message here? In summary, people tend to follow the trajectory they are already in. So when you're going up, you will keep going up. When you're going down, you will keep going down. When you're staying the same, like a straight line, you will keep on staying the same. So all of these theories describe that for people who are already in a good position, it is easier to get in a better position, so to earn more money. While for people in a bad position, the opposite is true. And I use the example of making money for this video because I think this is the easiest and like most telling example to explain the principles with. But it actually applies to a whole lot of aspects where you can score in comparison with other people, such as social skills, results at school, work, etc. I also want to point out, like, it may be not fair, but life is not fair. It makes no sense to focus on the fairness of this, because just because you can watch this video, while there are millions of people who don't have the means to do that, kind of already means that you are already on the lucky side in this unfair world. I think that just knowing that these principles exist, these theories exist, and to try to take advantage of them by building up little by little every day your life on whatever aspect you want towards a positive result. So thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in the next video.